This is a CSI saddle pad. I put the bar area here to indicate this area here that I'm trying to fill in on my horse. And you know, to most people, this horse doesn't really look like he'd be that hard to fit, but every saddle I have that's too wide wants to slide back and drop down, and I'm going to have a really hard time collecting them and bringing that back up if the saddle is pushing in this key area of his back. My collection has been much better since I started using a CSI pad. Benefits of this: one, it's contoured to my horse's back. It is vented to allow heat to escape over the top of the horse's spine. And it has the flex panel system here. You can see the contour here where it's stitched in the top layer. Then the inside layer is a 3/4 inch needled wool felt, which has nice breathability and nice shock absorption. I'm going to put this pad on my horse and demonstrate where I think it properly fits. I start a little forward and scoot it back. Now this is a real short-bodied horse. I would prefer to have more of my pad ahead of my saddle than behind. The reason is, right here where this bar is where the center of this flex plate strength is. That lines up completely with this place behind my shoulder blade. So I want to protect that as much as possible. Again, to help you visualize, here's the flex panel here. Again, here's what it looks like. Here is that center supportive area. That is what I'm using to support my horse right here. Now, it's very, very important to me that this pad is pushed up into the gullet. If you have a really high withered horse or a mutton withered horse, it's still important. Right in here, if your horse is tall and you're not quite tall enough to have the leverage to pull this up into the gullet, then grab your saddle horn and take your hand right here and push that pad up into the gullet on both sides. Check to make sure that the seam of the pad is right over your horse's withers so you're nice and level. I have enough pad out ahead of my saddle that that flex panel, it's fingered, it can open like this to move with my horse's shoulder. I always offset my saddles a little to the right when I go to cinch up. The reason being, those flex panels are going to flex into your horse's back and you want them to flex evenly. If you start totally centered, as you cinch up, you pull your saddle slightly to the left. And if you mount from the ground, you pull your saddle even a little more to the left. You'll have more pressure on your left panel than your right panel. So I start just a tad off to the right, because as I cinch up, that brings your saddle level. And as I go to get on, that's going to bring it over to the left a little bit more. That's a really critical factor for me, because many horses, even if the rider gets on and stands in the right stirrup to pull the saddle over to the right, it never fully comes and you're taking all the tissue with it, and then your saddle pad isn't centered.